Hello, I am Murali. Today we shall discuss about breathing. What is breathing? And what is the need of breathing? The body needs energy to work. The blood needs oxygen. We get oxygen from the atmosphere. The air from the atmosphere is sucked in, and the oxygen from the air is absorbed into the blood, and the oxygen in the blood helps us to give energy for the body and maintaining the cell, etc. Let us see which are the parts involved in breathing and what are the mechanisms in breathing. We know that we breathe in through a nostril and breathe out through the nostril. Let's see the diagram. This is the nose, and this nasal cavity, trachea, the pipe connected to the nose, and it comes down. There are two parts here, two lobes here. These two lobes are lungs. This trachea is divided into two, and they enter the left and right lobes of lungs. This again subdivided into smaller tubes named tracheoles and bronchioles. And at the end of each bronchiole, each small tube, there are small bags called alveoli. Alveoli are small bags at the end of the bronchioles, and the alveoli, like a bag, it expands and contracts when air enters. There is very small capillaries inside the alveoli, and the oxygen from the air is absorbed through the walls of alveoli. So the parts involved, or the organs involved, are nose, trachea, lungs, both lobes of lungs, and the small bags. And how air can enter? You can just see a brown line here. This is diaphragm. Diaphragm is a thick muscular membrane which separates the thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity. This is thoracic cavity, this upper part. Inside the thoracic cavity, there is heart and lungs. This is covered with the ribs, bones, and the sternum. This is sternum here, and ribs are connected here. Inside the rib cage, there are heart and lungs. So lungs are protected by the ribs. This diaphragm can move downward and upward. Now this figure, in this diagram, the diaphragm is moved a little upwards. When it moves upward, the pressure decreases inside the chest. When it moves down, the volume increases and pressure decreases. So by the movement of diaphragm, the volume inside the thoracic region will increase and decrease. When the volume increases, pressure decreases. When the pressure decreases, the air from the atmosphere can enter through the nostril. The air entering through the nostril to the lungs is called breathing in or inspiration, and the air moving out is called exhalation or breathing out. Now let's see what happens when we breathe in. There is a small hair-like part in the nostril, and the lining of the nostrils are moist. There will be dust in the atmospheric air. When the atmospheric air enters through the nostril, the dust particles are prevented by the moisture and also by the hair. So when the air reaches inside, there will not be much dust, and it will be a little moist and warm. The air slowly comes through the trachea and it enters the lungs through the bronchioles, and it reaches a small bags called alveoli. Let us see the alveoli. Yes, here. This you can see the alveoli here. A tube, the bronchiole. This is the bronchiole, the small tube called bronchiole, and at the end of the bronchiole there are number of small bags called alveoli. There, when it reaches inside this alveoli, the capillaries inside the alveoli and the membrane inside the alveoli absorbs the oxygen from the air and the moisture which is not necessary in the blood, and small part of toxins like carbon dioxide, etc., are thrown into the alveoli from the capillaries. So from the inside the alveoli, the gas transmission takes place. So when we breathe in, the air reaches the alveoli finally, and the oxygen from the air is absorbed through the alveoli. When we breathe out, what happens? The toxins in the excretion, that is carbon dioxide, etc., gaseous excretions, is removed from the blood and pushed out through the small tubes and through the trachea, through the nasal cavity outside. The diaphragm, as we have discussed, this diaphragm moves down. The air enters inside. When the diaphragm moves upwards, the air enters outside. So this repeated movement of the diaphragm helps the air to enter inside and move outside. This continuous repeated process is known as respiration. So when we breathe in, the oxygen is absorbed, and when we breathe out, the carbon dioxide, moisture, and a little part of toxin are pushed out. This process is breathing or respiration.